Today I'll be installing and testing out this new Hobbywing 1080 ESC in my Traxxas TRX4. So these ESCs usually range from like $45 to $50 typically, but I was able to pick it up for 40 bucks at a swap meet this fall. So yeah, it always pays off. Usually you can find some decent stuff at a swap meet. This is a waterproof ESC, and it's made by Hobbywing, which is one of like the top electronics manufacturers. So inside the box you get the ESC itself. You get a nice program card, you get the instructions and all that. You also get some heat shrink and double-sided tape, as well as some Hobbywing decals, so that's really nice. Pretty much had two main reasons why I wanted to get the Hobbywing 1080. First one was, I just wanted some more programming options. The stock one, it has like 5 preset settings, and that's really all I can do. This one has about 15 different options that you can program, so that'll be really nice and fun to mess with. Second reason was this one has a 7.4 volt built-in BEC, which pretty much allows you to run a higher power servo and just makes it safer on your whole truck. So since all my batteries have the Traxxas connector on them, probably going to be cutting off this, I believe these are XT60 connectors. I'll cut that off and put a Traxxas one on there so I can just work with my batteries. We'll also have to solder up some bullet connectors so that it'll work with the motor. Okay. So Traxxas sells the female connectors for $5 for 2. They are a little bit of a pain to solder, but they usually turn out and work pretty well. And then I just got these bullet leads for the motor. These are like $3, so really cheap. So both Alex and I are self-taught at soldering, so it may not be exactly how you're supposed to do it, but I mean, so far, all of our soldering jobs have worked. Well, those brass pieces are supposed to be out to the edge of the connector, but we're struggling, so I think that's going to be good enough. It'll still make contact with the battery, so it should be fine. Just got the connector on there, all good. Now we just have to put the bullets for the motor on there.
Yeah, that'll be good. This is a really crappy job here, this one. Let's try to get some of this off. Oh, that's...
So now I have to take the stock ESC out and toss the new one in. There's not much for extra slack on this wire to the receiver, but I'm just running it through the top hatch there. Alright, the 1080 is all set up. You do have forward and reverse. So the only downside with this new ESC is that it doesn't have a outlet of power like my old one did. The old one had this little power outlet, and then that just plugged right into the light module. The new Hobbywing one does not have that outlet, but I'll show you how to make an adapter right now. So you're going to need the male end of a JST connector with a little bit of wire attached to it. I was over at Reese's and he happened to have one in his junk drawer, so I'll just have to cut off this little whatever that is on the end, and then we should be able to solder an adapter to go into the receiver box. And then I have just this connector from a steering servo that I cut off of a bad steering servo. So we'll just strip the wires off this, strip the coating off this, and then solder them together. You're gonna be flying solo. We got a bit of a holder thing rigged up here. Alright, we kind of got that one down. Is it pretty? No. Is it gonna work? Maybe. You're also going to make sure you insulate these new solder joints using either heat shrink, duct tape, electrical tape. Just make it so that they can't touch each other. Otherwise, it's going to do crazy things like this when they make a circuit. Oh. Not sure what's going on. Well, there you have it. See if this thing works. It's something. Hopefully all that made sense. If you have any other questions, feel free to leave a comment down below, and I'll be happy to clarify it with you. Alrighty, here we go. So this end plugs into the light module side. So the power module for the lights also has this other wire that runs, and then it just plugs into here. What that does, I'm not really sure. So I don't know if we need to have that plugged in or not. Alright, so I think I figured it out. So we're going to put the red, I guess this is like some sort of safety circuit, I don't really know what it does. We're going to plug that into only open port really on this receiver, and then we're going to plug this into channel 1. And now we got all the lights. So that is sweet. Really happy about that. That works really nicely. Now I'm just gonna run this wire under the battery tray. Alright, so that feels good. I got my headlights all working. Both the headlights and the taillights are on and running off the power from the new ESC. But yeah, it always feels good when a soldering job turns out the way you wanted it to. Alright, so one of the best things about this ESC is the amount of tuning you can do on it. So it comes with this little program card. It has all the different options. It has 15 different options you can program here. And you just basically look at these little codes and then it tells you what each of them do. So you can actually hear the difference in the shift servos just when you upgrade the voltage that it's getting. So this is going to be on 6 volts. Listen at the pitch of the servo. So now we're going to upgrade that BEC voltage to 7.4 volts. So we'll go to item 14 and then set that to number 2. There's 14. Switch it over to 2, press OK, then it's saved. So now listen to this pitch of the servos. They're getting a lot more power. Kind of neat. So another really cool setting you can adjust with this ESC is the PWM frequency. That's number 13. So I'll give you a comparison of what the stock ESC sounded like right now. So here's a run with the stock ESC in. Listen to that buzzing sound. It gets annoying after a while when you're just trying to go slow. Just always got that constant little hum going on it. Just when you give it just a little bit of throttle. So as you can tell, it was quite noisy. And it just gets annoying after a while. So you can change that if you go to setting 13. So we'll go to 13. And then we'll change that frequency to 16K, which is item or value 5. Press OK. Then now you can listen to how quiet it is. Alright, so now when I give it just a little bit of throttle, you don't hear anything. Just the actual truck itself, the gears clinking around. Which is pretty dang cool. That just a little ESC can make it that much quieter. It's pretty impressive, really. So there's a ton more settings that I didn't even really mess with on here. I'm sure I'll get to them at some point, but that's what I like about this little ESC. There's so many different options you can do with it. And I was considering getting a Holmes Hobbies, one of their motors, but honestly, this Hobbywing ESC makes it, this motor performs so much better just with the ESC. I don't even think you really need to get a different motor. So if you're looking for a nice electronics upgrade for really any crawler, the Hobbywing 1080 is the way to go. It's 45 bucks. I got it for $40. It's just pretty much plug and play. Doesn't really require any modifications unless you're doing all the stuff with the lights. But yeah, just a great little ESC, tons of programming. There'll be a bunch more videos of this thing in action, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Anyways guys, thanks for watching. Catch you next time.